We're back for our daily NBA predictions here on the channel. Today is Monday, March 17th, and we've got 10 games today in the National Basketball Association, and like we've been doing all year long, we're gonna predict every single one of them here on the channel. The marquee games today, I'd say Nuggets, Warriors, along with the Grizzlies and the Kings. The other nationally televised game today is at the Garden between the Miami Heat and the New York Knicks. But again, predictions for all 10 games today. And folks, before we get into the predictions, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more daily NBA predictions here on the channel. Earlier today, we posted no college basketball best bets because there's no college basketball today, but we did post our NCAA tournament full predictions today. Now, we are still going to have best bets throughout the course of the college basketball season through March Madness, but I did predict the entire bracket today, and then obviously we'll get into more of the betting stuff starting tomorrow with the first four and the other college basketball games being played tomorrow with the NIT and other tournaments. So make sure to join us with that. Link in the description down below, along with our UFC Fight Night London predictions. In the main event, Leon Rocky Edwards takes on Sean Brady, again from London. That video is on Greedo Plays MMA, and it is linked in the description down below. Go make sure to check out that video, subscribe to Greedo Plays MMA, subscribe to this channel, Greedo Plays as well, as now we go to the first of our 10 games today in the NBA, and we will kick things off in New York for that nationally televised spot between the Knicks and the Miami Heat. Finally, the Knicks get to return home after that brutal road trip that they had. I mean, it was bad to start. I mean, given they only went 2-3 on that road trip, but just a bad omen with the road trip starting with a Jalen Brunson injury with that loss to the Los Angeles Lakers. They then played the other game in LA, Inglewood, to the Los Angeles Clippers. They lost that game, won back-to-back games on the road to the Sacramento Kings and the Portland Trail Blazers, but obviously lost to the Golden State Warriors in their last game where Draymond Green hit the night-night on them. Yikes. Fortunately, though, for the Knicks, they take on probably the coldest team in all of basketball right now, other than possibly the Utah Jazz. The Miami Heat are ice cold, and if the Miami Heat lose a game and the Chicago Bulls win tonight, which is very probable, the Chicago Bulls will have found themselves out of the 10 spot and into the 9 seed in the Eastern Conference. That's how bad the Heat have been. 7 straight losses make it 8 tonight. They will go 10 games under 500 with a loss. Now, they're basically already in the playoffs. I mean, they need to lose probably 8 more games to drop out of the play-in. Sorry, not playoffs. Play-in. They need to drop 8 more games in a row to potentially have the Raptors leapfrog them into the postseason. It's just not happening. Play-in, postseason, same thing. It's just not happening. The Heat are already in. They're so horrible. 7 straight losses. The last loss on the road in Memphis, second half of a back-to-back for both of those teams. Khalil Ware led the scoring for Miami in that game with 19 points. They just haven't been finding ways to score. They've been so unproductive offensively. Andrew Wiggins, I'm not going to say he's been the problem, obviously. They haven't been winning since they got Wiggins from the Golden State Warriors. But man, just nothing is going right for Miami right now. And not to say everything's going right for the Knicks at the same time, but they are just by far the better basketball team. Brunson's still out a couple weeks, but even without Jalen Brunson, this team should be able to dominate the Miami Heat tonight. The Knicks are 7.5-point favorites. I'd expect them to cover this easily. Nationally televised spot. The Knicks are trying to make a focus out of winning big-time games on ESPN and on national television, so they should be able to do it tonight. I trust in Karl-Anthony Towns. Again, he'll have a pretty solid matchup tonight, and I expect Mikal Bridges again to continue his shooting ways, obviously on the road trip. I'm going to take the New York Knicks to win this game at home against the Miami Heat and cover the 7.5 points. We move on to our second game of the day. We go to Houston, Texas for the Houston Rockets and the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, 100%, do I expect the Rockets to win? Yes. The Rockets are on a 6-game winning streak. Let's just say right now, it's going to 7 tonight after a victory over the Philadelphia 76ers. I do, though, believe 15.5 points is too many. We are going to take the Sixers to cover that. Guys, don't look now. Philadelphia is on a 1-game winning streak. Let's clap it up. The Sixers have won 1 game. We told you yesterday they had a good chance of beating the Mavericks. We took them to cover. They obviously won the game outright in Dallas. Early game at, I think, noon. It started over there in Texas. Good victory for the 76ers. Really good win. They win it by 5 points. Quentin Grimes had a day in his revenge spot. Grimes with 28 points, leading the 76ers in points. Now, who's playing tonight in Houston? Who knows, right? I mean, they still have a list of injuries. I just think they're able to stay somewhat competitive against Houston. The Rockets last game, they only won by 3 over the Chicago Bulls. Now, the Bulls have been playing tremendous basketball, and they're only going to improve again when Josh Giddey comes back from injury. But the Rockets don't always blow teams out, and by 15 points, that's a lot. I mean, we look at the Rockets' wins on this win streak, right? A 12-point win over the Pelicans, a blowout victory over the Pelicans in their next one by 29, but then a 13-point win over the Magic, I mean, hey, that's not going to cover. 7-point win over the Rockets, a blowout victory over the lowly Mavericks, and then a 3-point victory over the Rockets. I do concern about the Rockets covering these 15.5 points because they are a defensive-minded team. They don't always put up a high number of points, and it's an easily accessible mark for the 76ers to hit tonight, with it only being 15.5 points. Again, only 15.5, but Quentin Grimes has been scoring. I doubt Tyrese Maxey plays tonight. Maxey, didn't play yesterday. Paul George likely out for the season. Maybe we get Maxey playing tonight, but I'd highly doubt it. I think the Sixers, though, they didn't have Kelly Oubre last night. Adem Bona, who's their backup big. Andre Drummond potentially might play tonight as well, because, again, Drummond, Bona, and Oubre all didn't play yesterday against Dallas. Maybe they do play tonight. I don't know. I'm not telling you Philly's going to win this game, but I just think 15.5 is too many. We obviously expect the Rockets to continue their winning ways, but in this win streak, they haven't been entirely blowing teams out the water. I think Philly keeps it somewhat competitive and only loses by about 12 points, which would cover, obviously, this crazy 15.5 point line. Give me the 76ers, show some damn self-respect, and just stay competitive tonight in Houston. Give me the Sixers on the spread. We go on to our third game of the day, and we go to Minneapolis, Minnesota. Not often do I pick against the Indiana Pacers. Tonight is one of those nights. I'm taking Minnesota minus 7.5. For as much as I would like to say I think Indiana can win this game outright and cover, I just don't know who's going to play tonight. There's so many injuries, and the biggest one obviously being Tyrese Halliburton. Halliburton is questionable, and he is the heart and soul of this team. We saw this when this team went on their 3-game losing streak on the road prior to the buzzer beater win, or go-ahead 3-point plus the and one win that Halliburton hit the other day. The Pacers couldn't buy a victory without Tyrese. They're just a different team without Halliburton, and on top of that, Pascal Siakam's not playing tonight with personal reasons. On top of that, Miles Turner, questionable with a left hip contusion. On top of that, Aaron Nesmith, questionable due to left ankle injury management. There's just too many things negatively impacting the Indiana Pacers, and I don't think they're going to be able to overcome all of that tonight against Minnesota. They just played on the road on Saturday in Milwaukee, lost a competitive game. Tyrese had one hell of a night, 28 points, I believe, 15 assists, and they still lost the game by 7 points. The Pacers will be fine. They'll bounce back pretty easily, though, after this, because they get the Mavs, then back-to-back spots against the Nets, Timberwolves, Lakers, Wizards, all of those games at home up until the game in D.C. Indiana will be fine. I just think they drop this one to a red-hot Minnesota Timberwolves team. We talked about it yesterday. The Timberwolves, again, have not lost since that game. They went to Salt Lake City. It was the Ant technical foul suspension game. They haven't lost since February 28th. They obviously improved on their win streak yesterday, beating the Utah Jazz and dominating the Utah Jazz, beating them by 26 points. Anthony Edwards with 41 in that game. The Timberwolves are on fire right now. They still find themselves in the play-in, but again, we talk about them and the Warriors continuing to find ways in the continuing to find ways to win in the Western Conference, and continuing, again, to keep moving up that ladder in the West. I think in this game, though, Minnesota runs right through Indiana. We don't even know who's going to play for the Pacers tonight, and the Timberwolves are playing their best ball of the season. I get it, second half of a back-to-back from Minnesota, and if the Pacers were somewhat healthy, I would consider taking them again on the spread. The big one's Halliburton, and on top of that, we know for a fact there's no Siakam tonight. Yeah, I'm going to side Minnesota. I hate doing it to the Pacers. We love Indiana, but I'm going to take the Timberwolves to win and cover against the Pacers. We go on to our next one. We go to New Orleans, Louisiana, as we've got the Pelicans hosting the Detroit Pistons. For $2, ESPN says you can get into this basketball game tonight. You can watch Cade Cunningham for $2 tonight. Great. Anyways, Detroit back-to-back losses. The Wizards loss sucked, and then they lose to the Oklahoma City Thunder the other day. It is what it is. That's the best team in basketball. Yesterday we saw the Thunder win on a second night of a back-to-back over Milwaukee. That's just what they do, right? I mean, that's the Thunder, the best team in basketball. I think the Lakers, though, can give them I'm back on the Lakers now, all right? The win over the Suns, maybe a lot more confident. Hell, the fight they put up against the Nuggets, I'm kind of back on the Lakers again. I was never off, but we're fully back now. Anyways, it's a get-right spot for Detroit. The Pelicans, I don't know. They're a weird squad because I thought they were kind of back to the point where, all right, they're bad, but I think they can give a lot of teams some competitive games, and they should be able to beat the bottom feeders. Well, the game on Saturday, they lose on the road to the Spurs. And I get it, you're going on the road, but you know how god-awful the San Antonio Spurs are. And now on top of that, we don't know if Zion Williamson's going to play tonight. Obviously, again, Williamson has made a huge impact since his return, and the Pelicans have been much better with Zion in the lineup. But the Pels right now, 18-50. Yes, 50 losses for the New Orleans Pelicans right now. At home against Detroit, the Pistons should be pretty fired up after both Bickerstaff's, technical fouls and the whole, rant he went on in his post-game press conference about the officiating. I think the Pistons are going to be somewhat fired up to win this basketball game, especially, again, not just losing that, that close game against the Thunder, but losing to the Wizards the night before as well. I think the Pistons are going to be all right in this spot. Cade Cunningham, obviously an all-star in this league. The Pistons are playing decent ball. I know, again, recently they haven't been at their best. This is a simple get-right spot. They should be able to go to New Orleans and pick up the win. And on top of that, we don't even know if Zion Williamson's going to give it a go tonight. So I like the Pistons to get things done and go to 7 games over 500 with a victory here down south in Louisiana. We go on to our next game of the night, and we move to Salt Lake City, Utah. It is the daily tank update here with the Capture the Flag playing Utah Jazz. They are 5.5-point dogs here on their home court tonight, and I think that is a bargain for the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls are going to decimate the Utah Jazz tonight. Why? Because the Utah Jazz are not trying to win basketball games. So I'm currently recording this video at 1:35 in the morning on Monday morning. There are only 6 players on the Jazz injury report. We're no longer including Taylor Hendricks, obviously, because Hendricks has been out for the entire season. John Collins is probably out for the year. They say he's got a left ankle sprain. He's going to be out for a couple weeks. That means the entire year they're trying to tank. Keontae George didn't play yesterday. I doubt he plays tonight. Elijah Harkless is day-to-day, but he just got recalled from the G League team, whatever. KJ Martin's out. I think we didn't play yesterday. Who knows if he plays tonight? Springer didn't play yesterday. Clarkson didn't play yesterday. The Jazz usually don't update their injury report till right before the game or day of the game. So obviously with me recording this at 1:30 in the morning, I don't know the Jazz's entire injury report. What I do know though is that the Jazz aren't trying to win. They don't want to win basketball games. They are trying their hardest to get Cooper Flagg, and they are going to get rewarded with VJ Edgecombe with the 5th pick in the draft. That's what's going to happen. It is full capture the flag mode in Salt Lake. They're on a 9-game losing streak, and they don't really play competitive games either. So as of now, their 5 starters, Collier, Sexton, Cody Williams, Lauri Markkanen, and Walker Kessler, are all active to play tonight. I guarantee you at least 2 of those guys are not going to play come game time. We can probably bank on Walker Kessler because he is their best guy. They love just saying, you know what, you're not going to play tonight. You're resting. And then we'll just say Lauri's not going to play either. Or maybe Sexton. They'll just give Sexton a rest day because it is the Jazz's second of a back-to-back. They did play a lot of guys against Minnesota yesterday, and they still got blown out. Now they got to come back to Salt Lake. Yeah, they're not going to play anyone tonight. They're going to get blown out. I'm telling you, 5.5 is a steal on the Bulls right now, even with their injuries, right? Giddey, again, it's a positive sign that Giddey's doubtful because it shows, all right, he's going to be back sooner rather than later. Kobe White's playing tonight, and Lonzo Ball, the report is that Lonzo Ball's wrist injury recovery is not going well, but he's not done for the rest of the season. The only reason they're saying that is because the Bulls, again, will be playing playoff basketball this year. Not just in the play-in. They're going to play the Cavaliers in the first round. Just saying. Josh Giddey will get them there. Chicago will destroy the Jazz tonight. No Giddey, no Lonzo. That's fine. Dosunmu, obviously, still out for the entire season. The Bulls are going to find their way back to 10 games under 500. Which will put them at 9th right now in the Eastern Conference, and that will give them a home game in the play-in for the 2nd consecutive season. I think Chicago, again, I've been saying it, I think they get in the playoffs. In Josh Giddey's absence, Kobe White's done a pretty good job leading the charge, 31 in the Brooklyn victory, 23 in the very tightly contested game in their loss over in the Toyota Center in Houston. I think the Bulls play a competitive basketball game. I think they win it. I think they blow out the Jazz on the Jazz's home court as well. Chicago minus 5.5. Feels like one of my favorite bets of the day right now. Give me Chicago. And we've been all over the Bulls. Don't get me wrong. Next up, we go to Golden State, San Francisco, California. The Golden State Warriors take on the Denver Nuggets. Golden State is a 5.5-point favorite in this one. We expect them to actually cover this line too. We're going to keep riding with the Warriors here. Golden State on a 7-game winning streak. Let's make it 8. Okay? I don't think Denver's a serious threat. I don't think they are. I think the biggest takeaway that I got from the Nuggets victory against the Lakers on Friday night is that the Nuggets are not ready for prime time in the Big 2025. They're just not. Illegal screen by Jokic, by the way. It's a moving screen on Dalton Connect at the end of the game. Sure, Jamal Murray hits his shot. Russ makes his big dunk at the end of the game, and he stares down the Lakers bench because they beat the South Bay Lakers by 5 points. I mean, I witnessed Markieff Morris, Shake Milton, Bronny James, and Christian Koloko all play big minutes in that basketball game. Okay? Ridiculous. And then the Nuggets got what they deserved. They lost to the Wizards the day after. Hilarious. Jordan Poole with the game winner. I laughed. Jokic is not the MVP. SGA is the best player in the league. Okay. And the Lakers are going to get them on Wednesday night. Don't care. LeBron's probably not going to play. Luka himself will beat the Nuggets on Wednesday. And the Nuggets are also losing tonight as well. Okay? I've never been a Warriors guy, but let's go Golden State tonight. All right. The Nuggets don't play defense. They don't play defense. Washington with 126 points against them. The Lakers G League team with no Luka, no LeBron, 126 against Denver. This team's not that good, man. They really aren't. I could see Denver slide. I could see them sliding, man. I could. I don't know. They played a bunch of crappy teams in their win streak. All right. They don't fare well against some really good squads. You look at their schedule for the rest of the year. All right, man. Golden State, Los Angeles, loss. Portland on the road, they probably win that game. Houston on the road, loss. Chicago at home, probably win that. But the way the Bulls have been playing, if Giddey's back, I don't know. Second night of a back-to-back after they play Houston the night before, and then they got to go back home to play the Bulls the day after. Give me the Bulls. Milwaukee at home, loss. Jazz, win. Minnesota, loss. Spurs, second night of the back-to-back, win. Golden State on the road, loss. Indiana, loss. Sacramento on the road, loss. Memphis, loss. Houston, loss. Guys, the Nuggets, bold take right now, the Nuggets are going to be in the play-in. They have so many tough games, and it's not sustainable. And hell, okay, if they get in the playoffs, they're going nowhere in a 7-game series. This is a first-round exit this season. Yeah, Jokic is great. Oh, that's awesome. They don't play defense. This is not a sustainable way of playing basketball, and the Warriors are going to light them up tonight. This will not be a competitive game. Steph Curry's going to have a night. They don't play defense. Curry's questionable. The one night we need you, dude. The one night. He better play. If Curry doesn't play, man, he better. Warriors minus 5.5. I wouldn't bet it right now because if Curry doesn't play, I think he's going to play, but if he doesn't, oh no, this game's on ESPN, they'll force him to play. But yeah, if Steph somehow doesn't play, I don't like it anymore. I still think the Warriors can win without Steph, but then he's gone, and I'd stay away if Steph doesn't play. But still give me the Warriors. Let's go to Phoenix. The Suns, all right. Toronto plus 8.5 is the play here. I don't trust the Suns with anything. I don't. I think they win. I think they do. Phoenix, of course, trying to still chase the Mavs. If they win tonight, they're only a game back. Ultimately, yes, the Suns are going to get there. The Mavericks might have to forfeit games, guys. Like, that's just how deep in the waters they are, right? Like, Phoenix will find their way to the postseason, right? Hell, Portland's only 3 games out now. San Antonio's only 3 games out. It will be the Suns. Let's just be honest. It will be the Suns. For as bad as they are, they might go into the playoffs, the play-in, 5 games under 500. They will find a way. They're going to get there. We'll see if Bradley Beal plays tonight. I doubt it. Again, Beal left the Lakers game yesterday, the matinee game over at the Crypto.com Center Arena, same thing. I don't feel confident in the Suns winning this game. The Raptors have been playing some pretty solid ball, right? You look at the Raptors, their last 8 games, they've won 6 of 8. Back-to-back wins on the road in Orlando against the Magic, a win against the Jazz, lost to the Wizards, then they beat the Wizards, and then a win over the Sixers, a win over the Jazz on the road, and they lost by 3 points to the Blazers. I get it. Toronto's been playing some really bad teams. The Raptors are kind of trying to make their push to the playoffs. They're only 20 games under 500, and they are only 5 games back of the Miami Heat now after tonight, we would assume. So maybe, a team that's 20 games under 500 can potentially still make their push to the playoffs. This is the NBA in 2025. I don't feel confident in the Suns covering anything just because they don't play defense either, and they had a horrid night shooting yesterday. Booker could not hit a shot. Kevin Durant was their best guy, and KD was not having a good night either. I don't know. I expect the Suns to turn it around tonight, but the lack of defense that they play, I'm gonna side the Raptors on the spread. Toronto's been dealing with a lot of injuries, but RJ Barrett didn't play yesterday. Emmanuel Quickley didn't play yesterday. Jacoby Walter didn't play yesterday. Gotta assume some of those guys are playing tonight. I think they give Phoenix a pretty tough run tonight. Plus 8.5 points. Yeah, give me Toronto to cover. Ultimately, sure, the Suns win, but plus 8.5 for the Raps doesn't feel like the worst. Let's go on to our next game. We move to Sacramento, California. The Memphis Grizzlies go on the road to take on the Kings. For as much as it would help my favorite team if the Kings won, I think the Grizzlies get it on the road. Now, I'll be cheering for the Kings. And I know John Morant's not playing tonight. I still think Memphis ultimately wins the basketball game. Scottie Pippen's questionable. We'll see if he plays or not, because Pippen could easily just fulfill the starting point guard role tonight, but it probably will just be Luke Kennard. Jaren Jackson's healthy, and that goes a long way for Memphis. I don't trust the Kings. All right, just watching the Kings, they're on a 4-game losing streak. I think the Kawhi Leonard hook game winner in overtime, I think that's just one of those games that just changes your trajectory of the season. Now, we knew Sacramento wasn't going to go far, but that's just the type of game where it's like, all right, you just know it's not your year. You play a great game. DeMar should have got fouled in the three-pointer. I'm still not mad about that, by the way. Definitely not. DeMar should have got fouled in regulation. They review it, and they say, oh, apparently, DeMar, we're going to take away the foul. And all of a sudden, the Clippers come back and win the basketball game in overtime due to a buzzer beater by Kawhi. They haven't won since. Lost to the Knicks the night after, lost in San Francisco to the Warriors, and they lost to the Suns as well. And look ahead to their schedule, guys. There's a chance they don't win till March 27th. The Kings play the Grizz tonight, Cleveland on the 19th, Chicago on the 20th on the second half of a back-to-back, Milwaukee, Boston, OKC. March 27th against Portland. Oh, maybe they win. Great. That's a brutal stretch, man. And then on the road in Orlando, in Indiana. I mean, my God. They'll be in, though. They're getting in the playoffs, the play-in, because how bad the Mavs are. I mean, literally, the Kings just beat the Trailblazers in this entire stretch, and they're still in over the Mavericks. But this is brutal, man. The thing is, the Kings will find ways to win some games, though. I mean, they're a 500 team, right? They're 33-33, but their scoring alone will keep them in games, and Levine and DeMar. I think the Grizz still get them tonight. We know Desmond Bane can score even in Ja's absence, and we know Jaren Jackson's an elite player in this league. He's an all-star. I'm going to take Memphis to still go on the road and beat Sacramento. Not my favorite play of the day, but I think it's decent value on the Grizzlies. Getting them at plus money. Obviously, the fourth best team currently in the Western Conference. I think they go on the road to Sacramento and win, even though, sure, again, for me personally, I much prefer the Kings would get this game. I think the Grizzlies get it on the road. Let's go into our ninth game of the day. We go to Portland, Oregon. Just not a game just with not many implications to anything. The Wizards and the Blazers. Cool. It's great. I'm taking this Wizards run to end tonight. I know they've won 2 in a row, right? They go to Detroit and win. They go to Denver and win. I'll be damned if they go on the road and win a third consecutive game. Not even like it's like, oh, it's the big bad Blazers, It's just, I just don't think the Wizards can pull off 3 straight road wins in a row. It's that simple. Portland is coming off a win yesterday. They won over the Raptors by 3 points. A much more competitive game than you would have liked, obviously, against that team. We'll see if Anthony Simons plays, right? He's been dealing with injuries. We'll see if he plays the second night of a back-to-back. This simply comes down to I don't think the Wizards are able to win 3 consecutive games on the road. The Wizards now with 15 wins, and the Jazz tank operation has worked because now the Jazz have the worst record in the NBA because the Wizards have 2 wins. It's crazy. Again, the NBA, trust me, they will not reward the Wizards with this crap. They are not giving them Cooper Flag. Adam Silver will say, best I can do is VJ Edgecombe at pick number 5. Maybe if you're lucky, you can get Jacarius at 4 from Illinois, right? It's just like, they're not going to get rewarded with anything. If anything, the Wizards are going to get rewarded for kind of playing towards the end of the year. But I mean, the Middleton Smart era here in Washington has kind of gone crazy for this team. The veterans have kind of fired up this group. Ultimately, though, the win streak has to come to an end eventually. And I know I'm talking about this crazy win streak. It's 2 games. Eventually, it's got to end. Portland gets them tonight. We'll see if Anthony plays, but I'll take Portland. Final game of the night. This should be a one-way beatdown. I don't care at the second night of a back-to-back for the Lakers. I don't care. This is a beatdown. This is one-sided. Los Angeles destroys the San Antonio Spurs tonight, all right? They just do. Spurs coming off a victory over the Pelicans. That's great. They won 2 days ago. It's awesome. Luka should play. I know it's the second night of a back-to-back. I know Luka kind of tweaked the ankle at the end of the game. I'd expect him to play tonight, okay? We'll see if Hachimura comes back. LeBron probably out for another week. That's okay. They probably expect LeBron for the road trip. I can probably see Bron coming back for that Monday game next week against the Magic. That's probably where I'd see him probably come back. If not, they maybe postpone him until they're back home until March 31st for that final stretch. But I think he'll join the team for the road trip. He'll probably play Orlando, play Indiana, take the Bulls game off, and then play the Grizzlies. That's my guess. The Lakers just got to find a way to sweep the rest of this homestand. I think they can. San Antonio, Denver, Milwaukee, Chicago. I remain adamant that they're going to beat the Nuggets on Wednesday night. They will. Milwaukee and Chicago, good teams, but I think they win both those games. This is just a tune-up game. They beat the Suns last night. last afternoon. Luka with 33 and 11. Obviously, AR has come on as of late, obviously, which is much needed. They should destroy the Spurs tonight. We'll see if Luka plays. Even if Luka doesn't play, AR should be able to handle this team. And if Luka doesn't play, hope Luka does. But if he doesn't play, guys, you might get decent odds on the Lakers spread. Because the Lakers spread might be like 4.5 if Luka doesn't play. I think Luka will, though. This team does need wins. We'll see again. I don't think the ankle injury that he tweaked at the end of the game yesterday against Phoenix, I don't think it's bothering him that much. But we'll find out tomorrow, obviously, or later today, obviously. But I think the Lakers win this one. San Antonio's horrible. I know they're coming off a win over the Pelicans. That doesn't mean anything. Okay, guys, a Chris Paul-led team's not beating the Lakers tonight. And sure, it's really Stephon Castle and Devin Vassell, but they're a young core. They can shoot it, but the Lakers, the defensive presence, they held the Suns to 96 yesterday, which is kind of crazy. And I get it. Phoenix just missed a lot of big shots, but the Lakers, they're better defensively now. Luka's getting going. AR, Dalton Connect. I really like Jordan Goodwin as well in the starting lineup, playing great defense. We talked about, again, the defensive core. Goodwin, DFS, Vando, Jemison. I know he's been hurt or he's been sick, but still, the Lakers are going to be more than fine in this spot. This should be a game where they should blow out San Antonio, and then Bronny should check in the fourth quarter and pick up some points as well. Give me the Lakers to destroy the Spurs to end the night and cover the 8.5 points. So, folks, thank y'all for watching our NBA predictions here for March 17th. If you haven't yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video, and make sure to comment if you do disagree with any of the picks. We'll be back tomorrow for some more daily NBA predictions and with our college basketball best bets for the first four and more with March Madness. Folks, thank y'all for watching, and Mamba forever.